Skills are reusable instructions that ensure Maia aligns with your team's preferences without having to repeat guidelines in every prompt. Skills act as automated rules for your data pipelines, therefore automating repetitive guidance without having to repeat yourself in every chat. They can also reference additional files such as template documents or example pipelines to give Maia more context. Additionally, skills can be stackable, meaning Maia can use multiple skills in its response if relevant, depending on how Maia interprets your prompt. In the example on screen, you can see I have directly asked Maia to reference the Google Sheets standard configuration skill. It's possible to reference specific skills in a prompt by using the @ symbol. This means skills can be left for Maia to decide when to use them, and they can also be specifically used in prompts to ensure they are used for certain tasks. You may be familiar with context files and asking yourself what's the difference between skills and context files. The answer is that context files are always considered by Maia during every single one of its responses, while skills are used by Maia only when it interprets them as relevant to the prompt. If we wanted to create a skill, we would simply navigate to the skill panel of the Maia chat window. Once clicked on, we would then click Create a new skill. Or you can ask Maia to create a skill directly in the Maia chat window. As you can see, this opens up a new chat with Maia and automatically asks Maia to help us create a new skill. If you hadn't guessed, we can ask Maia to help us create a skill even when we are halfway through a thread of prompts. In this case, Maia needs some extra information before it makes a skill. And to start with, I'm going to make a skill on pipeline building patterns. I'm going to tell Maia to create a skill for setting up Google Sheet components, call it Google Sheet Standard Configuration, and use my example pipeline called gsheet component example as a template for when setting up Google Sheet configurations. Always use the same authentication and connection options as shown in the example pipeline. Maia is now implementing the plan of action to create this skill. Once it is done, Maia gives us a rundown of the skill that it created and how the skill works, including that Maia will automatically activate this skill whenever it is asked to create a Google Sheet component. All of these details on the configuration of this skill was influenced by the pipeline I gave as an example. As you can see, I can also now reference the skill in the chat window by using the @ symbol. If we want to see what Maia has done to create this skill under the hood, we can select the Skills tab and then the pencil icon next to the skill name. This opens up the Files window where the skill file is highlighted. All skills live in your file system under Matillion/Maia/skills followed by the skill name. Inside that file, we have all the settings that Maia needs to automatically set when dealing with the Google Sheet component, which was influenced by our example pipeline's Google Sheets component that has now been defined inside a YAML file. So now if we ask Maia to create a pipeline that uses the Google Sheet component to connect to a Google spreadsheet with the name course_reports, we can see Maia using the new skill automatically. If we click on the component that was created using this new skill, we can see that all the properties of the component that were set in the skill file have been set the same way in the component. Skills are incredibly useful assets for Maia, allowing guidelines and standards to be followed intuitively, increasing your efficiency when working on your data projects. If you want to learn more about Maia and its capabilities, go to matillion.com/Maia.